Hello. So today I'm reviewing something slightly controversial. The new Chanel cream bronzer called the Le Beige Soleil Tan Bronze Universal. So there's been a lot of talk about this product because it's been reformulated. The first two ingredients are dimethicone and coconut oil, hydrogenated coconut oil. And I know some people are taking issue with this because it breaks some people out, it clogs some pores, and I was curious to try it, so I got it. Unfortunately, there's only one shade, which I feel like would be nice if they would expand it. But besides that, I was just curious to see what the big deal is. I know people are quite upset about the reformulation. I unfortunately did not try the old one. I tried to look online for it, but it's all sold out. Everybody who wanted it bought it, and I guess they just replaced it completely. I'm trying it out today, and I'm going to do it on top of foundation before powder, just as a cream bronzer like I normally would. And then I'm also going to do it over powder where I would normally do powder bronzer. So the biggest issue I've seen is that the coconut oil melts it off people's faces or something like that. And the issue with the color, people say that it's cool and it's not warm. I don't really know. So I want to see, really, is the coconut oil going to affect how it applies onto powder? Also, I think that people who were attached to the old one, some have given this new product a chance and some people haven't, and just criticize it because they're just so upset about it, and in their comparisons, I don't think they give it a fair shot. I just think you need to keep an open mind with reformulated products. Obviously, a company doesn't want to, destroy their sales with a cult favorite, and I'm sure that there are specific reasons behind reformulating it. I know one problem was the fact that Chanel didn't clearly state that they were discontinuing the product and changing the formula for a new one. So that could be a critique to learn and grow from as a company, to listen to your customers. But yeah, I just wanted to see what the fuss is all about. I always wanted to try the product, just never did. And now I have this new one to try. Granted, I have nothing to compare it to, but I'm using it as if it's just a new bronzer that I've purchased and to see how it goes. You know what I mean? Instead of comparison. I know a lot of people are also upset about the reformulation of the Chanel powder, which I have. It's the Natural Finish Loose Powder. I have it in translucent 1, so the lightest shade. I used it all up, as you can see. This powder, in my opinion, was terrible. Wasn't finely milled. It wasn't the way I like it. And everybody loved this one. So I mean, maybe not everybody, but you know what I mean. So I'm gonna try the new powder to see, maybe I'll actually like it this time, as opposed to this one. This was not. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing how this product applies, I have oily skin, just so you're aware. And yeah, please keep watching. Okay, so I did my eye makeup first, and I've already put on my foundation. It's my first time doing my eye makeup first, and I hate it, and I don't want to talk about it. So this is the package. So in Canada, this cost $60 from Nordstrom, and it looks like this. Comes with a plastic cover, and it just looks like that. So the reason I didn't do my full face and then do my bronzer at the end is because for two reasons. One, I cream bronze prior to doing powder and everything, because I like that once all your makeup sets into your skin, like the bronzer and stuff like that, it can fade throughout the day, powder bronzer, whereas the cream bronzer underneath would preserve that bronzed look for a longer amount of time. And so that's why I wanted to do the bronzer first, and then I'm also going to powder my face after, do all my makeup like I already would. The cat hair, and then put the bronzer on top of a powdered face, because that's the issue I think people are seeing with this bronzer, the new formulation, because of the coconut oil or whatever. I think that people who don't powder their face, they can use this product and it wouldn't be as big of an issue, whereas people who have oily skin like me, they would have to only be able to use this bronzer over their powder and the old formulation, you were able to do that without disrupting the makeup underneath. So I put on foundation, I put on cream contour. I obviously did my lips, did my eyebrows, did my eye makeup. So now I'm just going to put on the cream bronzer. I'm going to use a brush. I know people like to use a beauty blender, but I much prefer using a brush for like cream bronzer and stuff like that. I'm going to use my MAC 170 for this. This has a faint scent. It's actually quite nice. Like usually I hate scented products, but this smells like perfume, but very lightly scented. I'm gonna dip into it. It looks pretty warm and I'm pale, so pretty warm isn't always good for me, but that's fine. Yeah, it's pretty warm. I'm never doing my eye makeup before my face makeup ever again, but I had to for this purpose. Bruh, it looks horrendous. Because it's like areas like my eyebrows, I had to put powder on it, but then I don't want to get powder on anywhere else on my face because I want to, you know, be able to use this before powder first. And then also I'm using this primer that I absolutely despise that's in my project pan, which I am never using again. I'm just done. You know what? I used it for a couple of months and I'm like, why am I rocking an ugly full face because of a primer? Just because I want to use it up. Like, it's fine. I'll take the L, you know? It's more than halfway done. So that's that. In my makeup today, I literally look like a hooker. It'll all come together though. It always does. I always will finesse my way into... And I also tried to do like the, you know, whatever that makeup look is where the glitter goes all the way up, but I kind of screwed this one up. This one looks all right, but anyway. The lip doesn't really go. It's fine. We'll work it out. No lie, it looks beautiful. For real. Like, I like it. Like, I'm gonna do my whole concealer thing, you know, clean it up like I normally would. That's how I test things. Just do it the way I normally would because that's how I know what works and what doesn't. But I think it looks beautiful. It didn't disrupt the makeup. It laid on totally fine. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it looks totally fine. I understand that people are upset that it was reformulated. I hate when that happens. I hate when I really love a product and it just gets reformulated because I'm just like, all right, well, you know, it was a cult classic. Everybody loved it. Like, why'd you have to ruin it type thing? Like, for what? But, you know, what happens is a lot of companies either A, they start to go cruelty free, so they have to change their formulations, right? Or they don't want to use products that have a lot of parabens, so they have to change up the formulations. Or their suppliers don't supply that product anymore and it's just harder to get, or the quality that they want is hard to get. So there are various reasons. I'm sure Chanel knew that it was a cult classic and everybody loved it. And why would they want to change the formulation if potentially people will stop buying it? However, so as a business move, they wouldn't do that, right? Because they're a smart business. If there's noise, my cat is chasing a fly through the window. But obviously it's a billion-dollar business. So they know what they're doing. Clearly there had to be a purpose of changing the formulation because they weren't able to provide that old formulation, because they weren't able to provide, for whatever reason, whether it's ingredients, whether it's suppliers, whatever the reason may be. Maybe they're changing their ethical views. So it's unfortunate, but a lot of the reviews I've been seeing are like quite negative, and I think it's just due to disappointment. They're not really giving it a fair shot as a new product. The only thing that's unfortunate is that a lot of people break out from coconut oil, and that's literally the second ingredient. So I can understand that that would suck because it either will break people out or clog their pores or they're allergic. So like, I understand that disappointment. So I'm gonna do the rest of my face and then use the cream bronzer over powder. honestly do not know how people do their eye makeup first. Like, look at the eyebrow. It's like there's a line there. And then my eye makeup, like, what is happening? I think it's more of a method for people who have dry skin that won't be setting their face, because I, for the life of me, could not do this and will never do this because it looks terrible. And rant. Okay, so at this point, I would do my powder bronzer. But what I'm gonna do is use this again. I'm gonna use the same brush and we'll see if it looks terrible on top. Please don't let this get any worse than it already is today with the makeup. Dude, it looks totally fine. It's not taking the makeup off underneath. And usually my method for cream products, like cream blush, because sometimes I want to use cream blush. I have a lot of cream blush. It looks nice and dewy. I'll do my full face just like this. Bronze, whatever. And then I'll set my face with setting spray. And so the setting spray kind of, it takes away like the powder, right? It just sets your face and just makes it nice and smooth. And then I'll use the blush because it's not like the blush is getting cakey on the actual powder. Normally, what I would do is I would set my face and use this bronzer, for example, on top of the set face, as opposed to putting it straight on the powdered face. But even though I'm doing it right now, it looks totally fine, man. Like, my powder set on top of it fine. It's going on top of my makeup just fine. I think the hype and the disappointment was purely just out of the fact that the formula changed. But I don't think people gave this product a chance. Granted, again, I would never try the original product. I always wanted to, but I just like never took the plunge. But after I saw this hype, I did look online to see if there was the old one left anywhere, just for me to get it for comparison's sake, because they would both be new products for me technically, you know. But it looks totally fine. Like, and this is on top of the terrible primer that I used today. The whole not doing my face like as I could normally do it, you know. I mean, I could have just done it as a cream bronzer, not doing my eye makeup first. But like, the only thing I'm reviewing today is the bronzer, so I didn't want to have to like, so I wanted to have my eye makeup and like lipstick done just to like to look more presentable, if you will. But yeah, like, I don't know, guys, like, I think it's totally fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna finish everything up. I'm gonna do my powder highlight that I always do in the high points of my face. So I'm gonna do that and see how it reacts with that, see how it all ends up in the end. I'm gonna set my face with setting spray and then come back to tell you what I think. So final thoughts on the bronzer. I do think that it was lovely, you know. I think it ended up looking, you know, nice as a bronzer. I think that obviously when they reformulated, they weren't planning on making a bad product. So they didn't make a bad product at the end of the day. They just change some things that don't work for some people and work for others. You know, that's understandable. Like, I too would be upset if I was in love with the old formula, but this one is still good. So if you're interested, like, try it out. Like, it's not a terrible product. You know, it worked for me and it was fine. Granted, I didn't try the other one, but I've seen a lot of people who reviewed both and were like, I don't see much of a difference. And then obviously there were some that were like, the color is different. You know, like, I'll swatch it for you. I think some people said it was cooler before or warmer. I mean, it still looks quite warm. So I don't know. All I know is that I tried it, I liked it, and you guys might too. My point is that it's not a write-off completely the way people are over dramatizing it to be. Also, like, people were saying like, oh, it's super oily and stuff. It's not. It's still like a cream to powder finish. I'm glad I got it. That's what I'm gonna say about the product. I'm happy to have it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Give me a like, subscribe, comment, anything, and I would appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, guys.